Now, over the next several years, our industry needs to continue to accumulate knowledge and to increase our understanding of various technical solutions. My best read of the future is that the ultimate answer to meeting 2025 standards will involve the use of not just one technology, but a multiple array of solutions. I'm confident that if we unleash our engineering talent, we can achieve sustainable mobility without sacrificing our customers' desires for vehicles that meet their transportation needs and are a pleasure to drive. The history of our industry, in fact, is marked by tremendous innovators who made a difference, fulfilling human aspirations for mobility and redefining how people lived. A defeatist outlook in regard to the fuel economy challenge is not worthy of our collective heritage. As an industry, it's up to us to reject the notion that we just can't do it. We can choose instead to embrace the attitude expressed by the author Thomas Carlyle, who said that every noble act is a first impossible. The focus on sustainable mobility is part of a broader issue, namely our responsibility to our communities, to our society, and to our planet. At Fiat and Chrysler alike, we believe that economic success and respect for the environment are not mutually exclusive concepts. Sustainable environmental practices incorporated in both the products we sell as well as our production processes are an important part of the effort to give merit and dignity to what we do. We have established a sustainability team that is coordinating a disciplined approach and is reaching out to dealers and other members of the extended Chrysler family. Now, some of our dealers are already well along the path. For example, Tim Parker in Hot Springs, Arkansas, installed a 2,000 square foot active solar panel system, the largest privately owned solar array in the entire state. And it is part of a comprehensive effort by the dealership to reduce its carbon footprint and to conserve natural resources. Another dealership, Hunters in Lancaster, California, has implemented a recycling and energy efficiency program that includes solar carports that produce 75% of the dealership's energy needs while providing covered parking for customer vehicles in the service parking lot. Now, I know there are many more dealers, and not just in the Chrysler fold, who serve society in a socially responsible way. I do not pretend to have the answers to how any of you should conduct your business in a way that makes you into a good citizen. But I do urge you to make it part of your decision-making process. Great organizations conduct business in accordance with fundamental values, and one of those values is a commitment to leave behind a world in which future generations can meet their own energy, transportation, and health needs. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "Courage comes such a short distance from the heart to the head. But when it goes, no one knows how far away it goes." And it is a bad thing to be in the bullfighting business when it's gone, no matter where it went. The challenges we face as an industry and as a society have much in common with bullfighting. If there's one ingredient that we need, it is courage. The kind of courage that comes from often choosing the grander, the more difficult path. The courage is what must define us today. Being courageous includes holding fast to those values that are at the core of how we do business and ultimately represent our most precious asset. Honesty and integrity in our choices, humility and respect in our dealings with others, and the sense of responsibility held by those who fully understand that their actions have consequences far beyond the walls of the office or of their dealerships. Being courageous means assuming the moral responsibility of our actions. We need to do something so that our age becomes an age of hope and of action. At the World Economic Forum last week in Davos, there was a renewed sense of urgency on how to adapt the market economy in a way that will moderate continual cycles of boom and bust, that will create jobs and produce sustainable prosperity around the world. There can be no doubt that the responsibility of governments is probably more crucial today than ever, and that the decisions they make now will affect the legacy that we leave for future generations. But I believe that the crafting of our future should not just be the responsibility of governments. In its essence, it is an individual and a collective responsibility. It is the duty of every person at every level. Martin Luther King, one of the most passionate leaders this world has ever seen, said, "I was not afraid of the words of the violent, but of the silence of the honest." The silence of those who choose inaction, who watch things happen and do nothing as if it isn't their concern. The silence of those who shout and preach in public debates and on television, who act in their own self-interest and to bolster their own image, but then actually do nothing to actually change things. That responsibility requires a commitment to being involved and in taking action. Martin Luther King was talking about us all. He was addressing the human tendency to cocoon ourselves in our relative well-being, in our selfishness and our indifference. Closing our eyes or thinking that the sacrifices and solutions are someone else's responsibility makes us part of the problem. We all have a responsibility to make the most of the opportunities that are available to us. We have a duty to commit to what we're able to do, to dedicate our individual skills and talents, to unite the best of society and work together to achieve higher objectives. And this is the lesson that I've learned traveling and working around the world, a lesson that I've carried with me and that has allowed me to embrace my responsibilities as a leader with serenity and with an open mind. The essence of leadership, when all is said and done, is simply the assumption of the moral duty to take an active part in building the future of the organization and of society as a whole, and acknowledging one's own responsibility to give the next generation for a better future. Being accountable for this task is what makes leadership a privilege and a sacred trust. Thank you all.